I just built this AI agent that turns any YouTube video into viral tweets. So what this agent does is it takes a YouTube URL. I'm going to use a video that I made on my own, and it's going to use these tweet formats from people I know that go viral in my niche, and it's going to then output tweets into this Google Sheet. So let's run the actual workflow here, and I'm going to show you how it works. So if I execute this workflow, it's going to get the video URL. It's going to call Scrape Creators API, and it's going to get the video transcript. It's going to use these tweet formats right here in this Google Sheets node, and then it's going to call an AI agent to actually draft those tweets for me, output them using this structured output parser, split out the tweets, and then output them into this Google Sheet tweet outputs. So here we see the actual tweets that came from that YouTube video. So it gave me 2 tweets in different formats, and it's going to also give me the format ID in case I want to attach any other content with it. I'm going to show you exactly piece by piece how to build this workflow. So let's start with the start node. This is the trigger node for the n8n workflow, and every n8n workflow is going to start with what's called the trigger node. And the trigger node will be something that you determine. Either it's going to be something that you start manually, or it's something that can start every day on a timer. It's something that can start from a webhook or a trigger from another application. You can determine that all on your own. For me, since I want to be changing the URL that I call every time, I'm going to do it manually. Which calls our get video URL node, which is a Google Sheets node. So let's open that up. The first thing you're going to have to do is connect your credentials. If you don't have a Google Sheets node, credential created already, you can create a new one. It's a very simple Google sign-in. And then you're going to call a sheet within a document. You're going to get the row, and you're going to take that data and use it. So I'm going to call a document from my list and a sheet within that document. If I execute that step, it's going to just call this first row right here. So that then sends that URL, just that string, that URL, to what is called Scrape Creators. So right here, this is called an HTTP node. HTTP node is the core of really any web service that you're going to tap into using n8n. So if you want to call a third-party API from any website, you want to grab data from that website, you're going to use an HTTP node. And for this, the service that I'm using is called Scrape Creators. Scrape Creators is just a really good web scraping service. They have built-in kind of functionality with Twitter, with TikTok, with a lot of these social platforms. So if you start building, it will give you 100 free credits to actually use their platform, and that will allow you to just get started and you use the service. So this is Scrape Creators right here. You're going to see your own API key when you actually log in, and this is the API key that we're going to use in our service. So the first thing, same as before, you're going to want to set up your credential. Here, Scrape Creator tells you how to create your credential, and if you copy and paste this JSON, you'll actually have most of the setup, but this will be a header auth. This will be a header auth account that you're going to create. If you create a new one, it will be a name and value pair, and the way this will be set up is you'll see it in Scrape Creators. If you go to the playground, here my API key is listed, but you'll see the way that you have to set this up for yourself is you will put in the URL, and then you will put in x-API-key. So you'll just copy an x-API-key in the name, and then in the value, you'll have your actual API key right here, which you'll copy, and then you'll paste it right in here. So that's how you set up your credentials. Once you have that set up, you can then put in this URL right here, And we're not going to use TikTok. We're going to use Twitter. No, excuse me. We're going to use YouTube. And so we have YouTube here, and for YouTube, we can then put in exactly what we want to do. So we want to get the transcript, right? So this will get the transcript of a video of a short. You'll just put in the URL right here, and this is how to actually use the API. So if you have, youtube.com/ whatever it is, you can see that it's coming in right here. And this is how you're going to call the API in the request. So you just copy and paste that here. And again, if you're going to use the JSON that I put in the link, you're going to have all of this done for you. You're not going to need to do anything except just put in the URL that you actually want to use from your own Google Sheet. So we copy and paste that link here, and then we drag in the actual video URL because we want it to be dynamic. We don't want to just put in, whatever URL is there already. We want it to be dynamic. We want it to actually call this Google Sheet right here. So that's how we are going to get a new URL every time. So once we execute that step, we then call the API, and this is what it returns for us. It returns a full transcript using the timestamps, and then here it has the transcript only text. So that is what we're going to do with the transcript. Then we have the actual set transcript, which is I want to only use the text only part, and I don't really care about the timestamps because I'm not creating, a chapter by chapter breakdown. All I want is the full text. So I set that. This set field right here lets you manipulate the data however you want. So we created a new field right here called transcript. We drag in the actual transcript from, or really any field that we want, right? Because there are so many different elements from this. And so if we go all the way to the bottom, we will see our actual, the field that we really want to manipulate. And I can't really scroll down right now, but if we go all the way to the bottom here, we will see that the transcript only text is right here. And that's the thing that we've dragged in. And again, the JSON will have all of this done, but this is to show you how to actually do it. And then we are going to call our tweet formats, because the way this is going to work is we take our transcript, and if we just pass into ChatGPT, if we just tell it like, okay, hey, like make some viral tweets out of this transcript for me, like it might create some decent content for us, but it's not going to be stuff that is proven and known to go viral, which is just a lot better for us because we can use formats with, very specific hook rules and very specific call to actions and, body content and styles and things like that we know are going viral. And the way we're going to do that is we have these tweet formats already saved in this Google Sheet. And the reason we have this is we created another n8n bot, and you can check out my last video to get this actual JSON as well. But we created another n8n bot that goes through X profiles, Twitter profiles, and it breaks down their most viral tweets into this kind of format. And it creates what people are calling context profiles for those tweets. So, it will have a template name, it'll have a hook rule, a body rule, call to action rule, style tags, and then character limits. And it will have an example URL and example content that we are going to feed to the LLM as context for the kind of output that we want. So the reason this is powerful is if I just tell an LLM like, hey, take this transcript, turn it into viral tweets, the viral tweets that it has context of are every single tweet that it's ever seen. And so we need to feed it context like, look, these are the ones that work. This is how you break them down. And so we want to, first of all, save those. Like we generated those. We did a lot of work to generate those from the profiles that we know are already working. So once we generated those, what we now need to do in this node, we got another Google Sheets node here. And what we're going to do is we're going to call tweet formats, or let's just do get tweet formats, right? So here we're going to get our tweet formats. So again, we connect to a Google Sheets account. We get a sheet within a document. We're going to get rows this time, same as before. It's going to be from our list tweet formats, and it's going to be sheet 1. And we see that when we execute that, we get all these tweet formats sent to n8n. So now we can actually use this data. Now, the thing is, if you have 28 different rows and you try to feed it all into an AI agent, you have to have some way of like looping over them or putting all that data together. So we're going to call this aggregate node. And what this is going to do is it's going to turn all of these 28 items that you can see right here, and it's going to turn it all into one item. And so all item data, turn it into a single list, put output in field data, and all fields except. I just don't really need the allocation. The allocation is meant to be like, okay, if I have 100 tweets, do I want 25 in this format, 50 in this format, what have you? But we're just going to have the LLM do that. Like, we don't even want to have to figure that out ourselves. So aggregate all the data, put it into one large data set or one large item that we can then pass to the AI agent. And what that looks like is it's one large JSON. So if you look at the actual data that's being passed in, so all of that is now aggregated into one large JSON, but it keeps all of the formatting for us. So everything is still labeled how we like it, but it's just going to be one large object or item that we can then pass along. So here I have the core kind of set of my prompt. I tell it, look, these are the formats, this is the source text, and I just pass in, I literally just dragged in this whole thing, json.data, passed all of that in, and then in my transcript, I passed in, this transcript right here, and I told it, return exactly and only this JSON shape, and that's it for the user prompt. And again, you're going to get all this. You don't need to, worry about this part. But then where I'm doing most of the work is in the system prompt. I'd love to open this up a little bit more, but you can see you're a one-shot copywriter. Your job, you'll receive a YouTube transcript in a series of formats for viral tweets. You'll choose how many tweets or threads, and your goal is to choose whichever formats work. You guys can go through this. You can modify this however you want. This is going to be a part of the JSON that you get. And when we execute this step, it's going to do a couple things. So it's going to first call the OpenAI chat model. All right, we're going to use GPT-4.1. It's then going to think. So use the tool to think about something. And the reason that is helpful is it just gives the model some more time to actually process. These are reasoning models at this point, and so the more time they have to actually go through the data and create an output, they tend to actually perform better. And then this is the key component right here. We're going to put in a structured output parser. So you can add in, tools, you can add in, outputs. You can add in these things that constrain the LLM to give you exactly what you want. So we're going to put in a structured output parser that forces the LLM to give us a JSON output in exactly this format. So tweet 1, tweet 2, tweet n. So it can do as many as it wants. But it needs to be only in this kind of format. So here we see we have tweet 1. This is the actual tweet. This is the format ID. And we see that this was the actual output that we will eventually get here, right? So it is eventually sending this to us. The thing is, we can't really use this format directly, right? This is, again, it's one item, output, tweet 1, tweet, format ID. What we need to do is we need to split that one item into multiple items. So this is where we have this split out node. The field that we want to split out is the output. and we don't need any other field because we have every other field inside. It's just going to split each of those out. So tweet, format ID, by each item, right? So now we have this in table format. This should be very recognizable to you. This is what a normal Excel sheet, Google sheet looks like, any kind of spreadsheet. And then that is where we connect our Google Sheet node at the very end here, because we're going to get each tweet and each format ID separated out, right? And then here it's getting us 2 items. So we call our normal Google Sheet node, but this time instead of getting an item, which we did before, getting a row, we're now going to append a row because we want to add the data. This time we're going to call our tweet outputs sheet, which we had here, sheet 1, and we want to map this manually. You can try automatically. It'll be pretty much the same for this one, but for most outputs, I would say just do it manually. It's a lot cleaner, and you just have way fewer errors. So here, I'm going to take this tweet that I want, drag it in here. I'm going to take the format ID here, drag it in here. And when we execute, we get the same exact thing, but it is now inside of our tweet outputs. So now I can take in any transcript that I want, right? And I can say, look, turn this into, a great, just like turn this into viral tweets for me, right? So if I go to my own content, I can go in and I can use this for my own content. If I go in and I go to somebody else's channel, I say, hey, like I would love to get some like tweet type formats or just like broken down, understanding of what they're saying in this long 1 hour video. Just give me a few tweets that even helps me understand. I don't have to tweet it out, but it might help me understand what they're trying to say a little bit better. So, of course, the intention of this is to use this for your own content, to help amplify your own content, automate some of that content creation process. But you can use this for really whatever you want. And I'm excited to see what people do with this. Again, the JSON will be in the description below. You can download that for free. Let me know in the comments what you think, if you have any questions or improvements on this, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.